Welcome to the next Q&A for trauma healing and life counseling. In this video, I will answer question 87. Dear Gopal, two patterns are strong in me: wanting to merge with others and conflict reenactment. It seems that healing the former is about becoming more aware of the rage and hate at its core, as you stated, while the latter is about focusing less on anger but become more aware of the needs behind it. Do you have any advice on these apparently opposing trajectories? I don't know this word. You mean probably impulses or tendencies. How to integrate both? Thank you so much for everything. Yes, what you write shows that you deeply understand something. Yeah, I really enjoyed to read your question because it really proves that you are at the basement of understanding the whole thing. And you even describe both poles. So that also means that you are close to the transformation, because the closer we come to the transformation, we realize that it's not only about one pole, it's actually both poles we have in us. Because developmental trauma means that these two poles are being created in us. We have always both strategies in us. Developmental trauma means that we had to distort our contact to the world by creating these two poles inside of us. And the more we are traumatized, the more we focus on one pole and look away from the other pole. So then it seems so that our life mainly depends on one strategy. But actually we have both strategies in us. So you ask, do you have any advice on these apparently opposing tendencies, impulses? I replaced your word. How to integrate both? Yeah, in fact, actually both are the same. Because both create distance. So it's not about integrating them or deciding what of these strategies I have to dissolve and transform. No, as soon as you realize the way of honest sharing, of getting in contact, you realize that immediately by honest sharing, by direct contact, by sharing what's there, you transform both strategies at the same time. Because both impulses are strategies of creating distance. You write wanting to merge and conflict reenactment. It is actually the same. You see, it comes from the same disastrous environment in your childhood. Because this wanting to merge is not a contact. Wanting to merge, you would lose yourself. This state is that of a baby. A baby has to merge with the mother. It's like one energy bubble. But you as a grown-up, you cannot merge with others. This is not what you want, actually. This is not what your body wants. You want a connection and a relationship on the grown-up level, and this has nothing to do with becoming one and merge. Because if you merge, you disappear. This is no relationship. For a grown-up relationship, we need both. We need two people. And if you merge, you disappear. Then there is no relationship anymore. So actually, this wanting to merge is a way of creating distance. It sounds strange, but it is like that. Because the idea of wanting to merge covers the actual emotions. And the solution is to communicate the emotions that are covered by this impulse to merge. And you are right, you say, this is about becoming more aware of the rage. Exactly, because the impulse to merge, you write you wanting to merge, this is a strategy to avoid emotions. And what emotion is there? First, the first level maybe is that you feel abandoned and lonely. Yeah, and the impulse to merge is a strategy to avoid that. And below that, even below that, is rage and anger and hate. You have been abandoned, and the actual reaction of the body is an activation, and this is rage and hate and anger to the person that has left you. So these are layers and layers and layers. I'm just explaining how everything, no matter how we do things, it's all a strategy to create distance and at the same time create a pseudo connection. Yeah, all these strategies have two aspects. It's the creation of actual distance, and it's the attempt to build a pseudo contact. And at the same time, this is the survival strategy of the childhood, and it was necessary like that. So, again, wanting to merge is the cover about feelings of loneliness, helplessness, and so on, and below that is rage and hate and anger, and this is the core energy. And if you start by sharing what's there, I mean, it's really so simple. Yeah, start sharing that you want to merge. Then as soon as you share it, you don't have to act it out. You create distance to that strategy, and then the feelings that are below that, the next level, can come up, and then you share that you feel lonely, and so on and so on. Yeah, this is the way to transform that. And the other strategy you write, conflict reenactment, is the same. It's a way of creating distance because you don't have to access the actual emotions. You create a conflict, and this covers your needs. And again, the needs cover the actual feelings that had to be suppressed in childhood. And then you see you reach at the same point. Loneliness and the actual rage. What you write here with conflict reenactment is not the actual rage. It's a superficial way of acting out. It's not the core. Because you delegate it to the outside. But the same here. If you feel the impulse to create a conflict, then share this itself. For example, now I again have the impulse to create a conflict between us. Or in my mind comes the idea that you are doing something wrong. And then you may feel the actual feeling or the need, for example, for closeness. And maybe below there is sadness or rage or hate. Yeah, at the core is sadness and rage. And maybe for you it's both. I mean both in the sense that you had to suppress both. Usually people have access to one emotion, sadness or rage, relatively easy, and the other one is difficult to access and suppressed. And maybe in your case both are suppressed, but I don't know. So again, it's not opposing impulses and tendencies. They serve the same purpose, to create distance to yourself, to your deeper emotions and needs, and to the other, and try to create a pseudo connection. So this conflict doesn't exist. Just focus on sharing what's there, no matter what it is. The impulse to create a conflict or the impulse to merge with the other, there's no contradiction. It's the same happening with two strategies. They just seem different. They have the same basis. So the question how to integrate both is not relevant. It's about sharing what's there. And if you do that, you get deeper and deeper, deeper. And then you don't have to make it so complicated. And I have to say that again and again, for honest sharing, it's not necessary to understand our personality. It's not necessary. You don't even need to have trauma knowledge. Absolutely no. That's why I created the honest sharing. Because by that process, you can be transformed. You will be transformed if you just do it as it is described. And you have no need to think about deeper or to understand more. It's not about understanding it. It's about precisely following the instructions of honest sharing. But of course, a therapist, he has to know and understand more, and he can help you faster. Of course, he can see the whole stack and layers and layers and layers of suppression and strategies, and he can help you to directly access the core. But you cannot do that yourself. It is too difficult. So if you want to progress faster, then please go to a trauma therapist. And if you don't want that, or you don't have one available, just precisely follow the instructions of honest sharing and forget all about trying and wanting to understand something. It's not about understanding. It's about following precisely the instruction.